Girl, you are that girl. I know you see me. Can you see me? KP, I know you see me calling you, girl. Ooh, KG, that was cute. Yes, ma'am, KG. I know this service is working. I have Verizon Wireless. Our service don't break down. No. Yes, Janae. Work me, Janae. You have an incoming call, girl. Answer the phone. Now. Hey, Miss Lachanee, aka Miss Josie.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am a little tired, but
I'm
making it. I'm excited right now, though.
You look good. I'm excited too because we got to get into some things. We got to get into it. So, do me a favor and introduce yourself.
You want the short version or the long version?
Whatever you want.
No. Well, I'm Lachanee Hips. Most people probably know me as Lachanee Davis or Juicy, whichever one you prefer. I crabbed the sensational Stingettes in 2012, and my performing seasons were 2012 to 2015.
Yes, ma'am. And you ate.
Thank you.
Now, before we get into it, like, your name is very, like, unique. What does it mean? Does it have an actual meaning?
Child, no. No. My grandmother named me after another family member whose name was Lachanette.
Oh.
Not even like after her. She just really liked the name.
Yeah.
And Lachanee fell upon me. So, no, it does not mean anything. You know, most black people be like, my name French. No, it's not French. It's not nothing. It's Lachanee.
Right. Baby, I love it. Because it's so different.
Thank you.
It's so different. So, before becoming a Stingette, what other dance experiences did you have?
Actually, my only dance experience before becoming a Stingette, well, you know what, I was like, wow, okay, let me go back. I danced in high school for the Shaw High School Marching Cardinal Band of East Cleveland.
Okay.
Not Cleveland, but East Cleveland, to be exact. And I was a dancer, and then I think towards my second year, we transitioned into an auxiliary team, so I actually have flag experience.
Wow.
But in 2011, I was a part of Eclectic Dance Company on Alabama State's campus.
Okay.
So I did that. I was majority like a hip hop dancer. But those are my only dance experiences. Before high school, I was into cheerleading, like all like community type stuff. And then 1 year in high school, they pissed me off. So I was like, I'm joining the band. And after that, I became a band head.
Now, you said you was a flag girl. Like, was it hard getting that, technique for flag?
It wasn't. It really was just the timing. Like, I was going into, I think, my second year, and all the seniors that were on our, like, dance team had transitioned. Mm-hmm. And so our band director decided at that point that it would be a good, which it was a good time to transition the team from just dance and flag to auxiliary.
Right.
And so I was really, like, myself and the only remaining like upperclassmen, we were very defiant about it. Mm-hmm. But once we put our pride aside and started doing it, it was really easy, and we was snatching trophies because we were doing flag and dancing. So it was beneficial. Back then, we was like,
it would have. Let me tell you something. That figure eight.
Like I still have like these like bubbles on my wrist to this day from having to like work. Like we were really working flat. I mean, we had like 8-foot poles. Like we had big poles. Like because our band director didn't play. We had a small band, so the flags were very like important in our band. Right. Yeah.
So what made you want to become a Stingette?
Ooh. Okay. Wow. I actually haven't thought back to this in a minute. So, band, our band director, Don Sean Wilson, shout out to him and all the work he's doing in East Cleveland. But our band director really loved to expose us to different HBCU bands. And so he took us in 2008. Mm-hmm. He took us to Alabama State for Magic City Classic. And this was my first exposure to a HBCU band, period. And so can you imagine that? It's like Magic City Classic is your first experience with a black band. Like, that was really incredible for me. It really sold me. And I'll never forget it because we did high schools do the parades and stuff. They have the battles outside the parades. Right. And we got to the game. At, the game, you're not really performing, you're just watching. And we were kind of sitting, like, we were up. Mm-hmm. For those who can picture, it's like the huge stadium, you're up, and it's like we were like behind one of the field goals. So we had A&M on this side and then Alabama State on this side. Yeah. And I actually will never forget this because that was the time when Pretty Brown Eyes was the thing to play, right? Yes. And so all through the game, you would hear dun-dun, the intro, dun-dun, and they were like blasting back and forth, fighting on who was doing the intro better. And for me, Alabama State was doing it better. Yes, like, no bias, but this is what my first impression, so it wasn't no bias going into it. Yeah. They sold me. And so when we had the opportunity to, I think he let us go, like, wander, go ahead, go down closer. We didn't have tickets, so it was just standing room only. Right. I chose to go to Alabama State side because I wanted to hear their band. Really? And when I got down there, the first thing I saw was the girls, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I mean, even to this day, it was something about that 09 and back and how those girls were built like stallions. Yes. Like, like, it's just so incredible. And I never said this out loud, and I'm sure she's going to be watching, but Brittany Holmes was one of the first people that I actually, like, noticed in the stands. Yes. It was something about her class and how she carried herself and her body structure and just everything about her. Like, I looked past everybody and was, like, mesmerized with her. And it wasn't until years later that I connected that it was her. Yes. But, I mean, just seeing them in their poise and just... And, I mean, I got back, and from there, I was like... So, at this point, I had to be, like, a junior-ish type. Yeah, probably the beginning of my junior year. So, it just really started me with, like, the YouTube and trying to see what I can learn. And I was naive at that point. So, I was, like, really on the stands and stuff like that. Yeah. And then at the time, I was dating someone who actually went to Alabama State probably 2 years before me. And so, that was, like, another reason why I was like, I want to go, but I want to make sure I really want to go for me. So I applied to all these different schools. Majority of them were black. Yeah. And by the time it really got towards the top of my senior year, you had to, like, really make a decision. Right. And for me, it was where I want to dance. Because I was already, like, I was third in my class in high school. So I was capable of getting the grades that I needed to no matter where I was. So I needed to find a school that was going to keep my interest. Right. So... I left it up to people. I put, like, a post on Facebook. I was like, where can you see me dance? And my three choices were Jackson State, North Carolina A&T, like Golden Delight. Yes. Really, because they did flag too. Yeah. And Alabama State. And I don't remember what everybody else said, but I felt like it didn't matter to me anymore because I knew I wanted to be a Stingette. Right. So... I went to Alabama State in 2011, and I came back with a degree.
Baby, let me tell you something. I could have saw you as a J set.
I could have did it.
You could have did it. So,
shout out to the J set.
Yes. Yeah. Saying all of that, what is your definition of a Stingette?
Well, honey, a Stingette to me is a lady, I'll say that, with class, who executes her moves with precision. Yes. And this sense of sensuality that cannot be duplicated. Okay. We sell sex, and we sell sex in a way that will make you lose your mind.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And that to me, I think that's what sets us apart, because a lot of HBCU dance organizations are precise. A lot of them have that fierceness, but that sex is what sets us apart as a team. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So, who was your inspiration as a Stingette?
As a Stingette?
Yes. Like, who inspired you?
I can't put it on one person. I can't put it on one person. Okay, I'll say, aspiring to be a Stingette, as I was watching those videos, of course, during that time, now I told you this was 08, 09, right. So Leading into '09, I'm looking at Bets all day. I'm
Yes.
studying how she performs to No Other Love and Jamaican Funk. And
Yes.
learn, I know the secret. I know what count she's doing next. She was really influential on what I think a lot of us after that year, why we all tried out.
Right.
And honestly. Then as I kind of got closer, you know, to those years, I watched Jordan a lot that year just because, I mean, she was just so... She was very unique in how she carried herself. It still is to this day.
Right.
And then, of course, from her were her babies. So, like, after that, getting ready to go in my senior year, I studied Ashley and Alexis to the T. Really, Alexis, though. It was just, I really rooted for her because she was dark, like, she was a darker complexion.
Yes.
And she sold the sex in a way that
Oh,
I can't.
yes.
I don't know. and then she had a way of bucking out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it was time for just one by ones or random different counts, she would buck your life away. So like that, like though they were like really pushing me towards like getting into the door.
Yeah.
Once I got there, of course, I mean Ashley was my captain. Kiki and I were TBS sisters, so we pushed together. And then, you know, there are my TBS sorors who are Stingettes that always just came back and showed love. Denisha McCall, Brittany Holmes. I mean, the list can go on and on for my sorors. That inspired me to really keep going on other levels.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, my craft sister, Asia, I mean, she inspired me standing next to her, you know, like, or even just being behind her or in front of her, or whatever, you know, like, those are my inspirations as a Stingette. And now on the other side, just seeing people take it to the next level on that the afterlife of a Stingette. Hell, little sisters, Alexis Berry.
Yes.
She doing her thing. Miss Bronson. I mean, she princessing and Atlanta Falcons and Ashley Harris, you know, getting it behind whatever celebrity she chooses to. So, I mean, I'm always inspired by my sisters. It's an everlasting.
Oh yes, ma'am. You better promote. You better promote. Yes, everlasting, baby. Yes, ma'am. So, during your first tryout, like, can you tell us your experience behind that?
Yeah. So, not sure if everyone knows, but I did audition in 2011. That was my first tryout, which was unsuccessful, but it was successful in my own life. Right. I have to think, okay, what happened? How did it go? Lisa Porter was coordinator.
Yeah. I
was coming all the way from Cleveland, Ohio to Montgomery, Alabama. I have never stayed away from my mom. It was tough. I probably should have got there earlier than I did because my mom literally dropped me off into auditions. Like literally got there, set up my dorm, and got to the Telebody building, and I turned to give her a hug, and she just broke down crying. I had to like run in and audition. That was like set up for failure. Like, so emotional going into that. Then I really wasn't prepared for the intenseness. Like, it was super intense. The amount of like crunches and conditioning that happened. I knew it was coming. I mean, we conditioned in high school, but it was just the fact that it was like so on top of all these emotions that I was feeling. Like, I was a child in my mindset during that time. Also, I really feel as if I didn't take the time to like understand the style beyond the stands.
Right.
I think that I didn't set myself up for success in that way the first time, and I really learned my lesson from that. So, I mean, long story short, I didn't make the team. I'll never forget though. One of the first people I encountered was Silva. Like, we at that audition, we were like this, and we both didn't make it. We both did not make it. And I remember going to the like office after that, and I kind of like clicked with her still, and that's how I ended up with Eclectic, because she became one of the choreographers for Eclectic. She was upperclassman. So my first ever choreographer at Alabama State was actually Silva.
Wow.
Yeah, facts. And Yeah, so I mean, that was tough for me. I had a lot of resentment in my heart. I probably went to one football game. I had a lot of reasons and rationalities. Like, I'm like, maybe because I still feel that I'm not really much no dark skinned people on the team that year.
We gonna talk about that. We gonna talk.
But I mean, when I think back, I will admit I could have been better prepared. Yeah. Technically, like I said, Miss Porter was the coordinator. It wasn't no breeze. Right. Getting up on her team. Period. So that was my experience. So I mean, when I met actually after auditions, there was a time period where the band just so happened to be in the cafeteria at the time that I was there, which I used to always try to avoid them. But there was a moment where Lisa Porter was getting some food, and I was like around her in the vicinity, and I just decided to speak to her, and I decided to just ask her for feedback. Yeah. And that was her feedback, just about the technicality that I was missing, and I did what I had to do.
But that was a good move. That was a smart move, just for feedback, because a lot of people don't get that real feedback that they need. Like, that was a good move. That was smart.
It took me a second to do something with that information because, like I said, I really had so much resentment in my heart about not making it. I was just so hurt. I remember just calling my mom, like, I hate it. Because I hated it there. Like I said, the guy I was dating, he was in the band, so he was never around. I had no fans. I was all these miles away. I literally, in the middle of the country. It was country to me.
Homesick.
It was country to me because I'm from Cleveland, so things are fast. Right. You know what I'm saying? I hated it. But then once I turned my mindset around and really started engaging with my eclectic family, even those who were in eclectic that were actually former Stingettes, Courtney Scott, at the time she was considered former. But Courtney Scott, Artesia, we didn't know it at the time, but Brittany Johnson, we became really close and we hadn't auditioned yet together. But yeah, I got up on my feelings and then I switched it around and I started working out, and then I took that summer, 2000, so that had to be 2012, came home, and I started actually studying the field routines this time, teaching myself moves like Jagger or 3 or, some of the most popular routines. Started teaching myself those routines and came back at 12, and the rest was history.
But what motivated you to come back? Like, some people, they don't get motivated to, after they try out, they just don't come back.
I really wanted to be a Stingette. Yeah. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you really want to do something, first of all, the things in life that are meant for you, that are worth having, they won't come easy. Right. Marshall Harness, the price of glory is high for a reason. Yeah. And, we do what we have to do to get the things that we want. So I just really had that endurance of not giving up. But then I really learned a lot from being a part of Eclectic. I was more of a hip hop dancer. They did help me technically. I just had some things I had to work on. But also another thing that really inspired me too, my craft sister, Ariel Brown, she only did 1 year in 2012, but we were actually at Shaw together. So she came in after me and then transitioned into captain at Shaw while I was at Alabama State. And she was going to audition, and we just had this mindset that we're doing this together. Yeah. So that kind of really helped me. Now I'm not by myself. We were just like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, but how was it having that one girl that lives in your same vicinity? It
was the best thing ever though, because we so I think that summer we spent some time together working on some things, and then we went down Alabama State. I want to say we went down this time together. We stayed. I think I stayed in her dorm until my dorm there was something, but we stayed together during the audition process. We talked to Dr. Oliver about letting us in one of the rooms just so we can just practice on some things together by ourselves. We kind of had that advantage because Dr. Oliver actually was my high school band director when he was at Central State University. So we had a little advantage of can we get the space to at least work on some things? But I mean, that really actually pushed me even more, just having her by my side. And us making it together was we came out the room, we just cried and rocked and hugged, and that's my age.
I know that's a good feeling, baby, once you make it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how was it crabbing under Ashley?
It was terrifying. Every day was terrifying. Every day was terrifying. Oh my God. It was terrifying. And then even her and Alexis together, it was Like, when you see one of them, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
When they both get together, it's like, Jesus, take the whole entire car. Not just the wheel, but the engine. Like,
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it was terrifying, but she put the fear of God in us in a way that I'll never forget. Because it was just really about respect.
Yeah.
It was really about doing what you had to do and realizing this is not going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be easy. You know, I think that's just really what she was trying to instill in us. And hard work, dedication, doing what we had to do, our endurance, not showing you're tired, because she never got tired. It was a hard experience. And Ashley was actually my big sister, which I was like,
child, and she kept it too.
Ashley was my big sister, and then on top of that, we stayed in the same facility together, like literally around the corner from each other.
Oh my God!
So it was just like I really crabbed, like really bad. But I loved Ashley and how she. I mean, yeah, it was an experience. Her leadership. I can't really even put it in words, because she does what she needs to do. She'll tell you what needs to be done. She expects nothing less from anybody around her.
Yes. So how would you describe your crab year in one word?
I mean, hard.
Just
hard. If it was just one word, it would be hard. It was really hard.
Oh my God.
And then, like, I think I hyperextended my knee a day before a game. So this is 2012. This is the first time we premiered telephone, which hurt my feelings, not being on that field.
Child.
That was a game to remember. And I was on the side. Because the practice before, I hyperextended my knee, and my knee was swollen. I think I was out for like 2 weeks, so I missed a couple games. It was hard. It was hard. My mindset was a little different because now I'm an upperclassman, so I had a decent grasp on school already. Yeah, like it was just a different experience, man. But my sisters and I, was all 8 of us. We really had to stick together, and that's what got us. That's what got us through it. We had our moments, but that's what got us through it.
I don't think everybody has their moments. Every team has their moments. You know, it's nothing.
It wouldn't be a team if it wasn't.
Exactly. I wouldn't be sisters if it. You know.
It would.
I got you. How would you say Ashley and Kiki was different as far as leadership?
I mean, because it's two different perspectives. Like, I could see if I was judging it from an upperclassman point of view in both settings.
Yeah.
But from one point of view, I was a crab.
Right.
So I didn't matter. And then in the other point of view, by the time Kiki was captain, we were TBS sisters. I was an upperclassman. And it was like, let's just do this. Let's just jam. You know what I mean? So,
because the way Asia, she was just like, Kiki was more so of like the party girl, just having fun. And
yeah, I mean, and we did. We had a lot of fun. It was still hard work. That was Bridget's first year. And she had her expectations too. But we had fun, we jammed out.
Yeah.
Kiki did what she wanted to do.
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
she was there to make a statement because, and I ain't blame her, and I always had her back for it, and I have her back to this day. But she had a statement to make because, of course, she had doubters, naysayers, you know, and I was in for it. I was loving every bit of it. But I think with leadership, Ashley was really about her business. She came to work. She had her ways of motivating you, but like I said, I can't speak too much on how Kiki came across because at this point I'm an upperclassman. Right. You know, Kiki's atmosphere was a lot more lax. She allowed for the upperclassmen to collaborate, contribute, and put together. But she still wanted us to look like something, look like a team. Still jam. All she really expected is jam out, just jam, do what you got to do, and let's rock this and go home.
Baby, like, Mama Buck.
That was key. Mama Buck.
Yes, ma'am.
Mama Buck.
Okay. Okay. So, how did you get the name Juicy?
Alexis.
Yeah.
Alexis Delaney. We didn't have crab names because after like the FAMU incident.
Yeah.
When all that happened, there were a lot of like things that you had to be cautious with that were considered hazing. And,
right.
That was not. But we still all had our nicknames that kind of stuck with people. And so by the time I auditioned for Stingette again, although I was doing my workouts more so for stamina, the calves really got to me. By the time I re-auditioned, I think I was probably like 130 something, which don't seem like a lot, but I'm 5'1" and some change. That's a lot of weight on me.
Yeah.
And a lot of it went to my booty and my thighs. And so
it went to the right places.
A lot of it went to my booty and my thighs. So I just remember crabbing a lot of times. Alexa would be like, Juicy, Juicy, you, Juicy, Juicy, Juicy. And then next thing you know, Ashley, Juicy, Juicy. And then the upper class was Juicy. And then it just stuck.
Yeah.
And so by the time, what year was that people really started calling me Juicy? Like out loud, the public.
Out loud?
Kiki year, maybe.
Yeah.
By the time Kiki's year came around, Callie, Tiana Corona, 2011 Stingette. She wasn't on the team anymore, but she was like managing a YouTube account.
Yeah.
And so she would be recording, but you would hear, yes, Juicy, Juicy, yes, because she knew me as that at that point. Because she was on the team when I crabbed. So you would hear Juicy when you hear a lot of videos of Juicy, 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 and then it just stuck because of the comments. Who is Juicy? Who is the? And then the dark skinned girl, that's the ace. From there.
But did you like the name?
Yeah, I wasn't offended. I thought it was very unique. I thought it was unique.
And it fits you.
It fit, yeah. Ashley used to call Ariel Ohio, which was very contradicting because there were 3 of us from Ohio. So I was happy to just not be named after a state.
Yeah. yeah.
So, I mean, I like it. It's juicy, you know? Yeah,
I loved it. Oh, I love it. I love it. It just fits your personality. It fits.
I need to thank you, Alexis, and thank you, Tiana.
Yes. That was a perfect name. Did you ever want to be captain at any point?
I did. I submitted my what's it called? Essay and did the interview and all that stuff. It was just me and Asia.
Okay.
So because I think at the time going into whatever year, going into 14, finishing out Kiki's year, Diamond decided that she didn't want to audition or she wasn't going out for Stingette or casting. And I remember her telling me, she was like, girl, they know who they want. I ain't about to waste my time. Like that was taken, like blunt and straight. But I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna go for it and see what happens. I was TBS vice president, so I knew that they knew I had leadership.
Yeah.
So I did what I could, and I really spoke a lot about my leadership experiences in my essay, of which I was informed that Dr. Oliver told me he didn't read it. He told me he didn't read it because Asia wasn't able to get him her essay.
Oh, okay.
So when he said that to me, I was like, okay, so I already know what it is. You know what I mean? Like it was what it was. You know, I'm not a quitter, so I wasn't gonna like submit my stuff and then be like, okay, well, never mind. You know what I'm saying? I went through the process. I voiced my opinion, but me and Asia, we knew what it was as far as whoever did what, I got your back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
and that's all that matters.
And it's leading into him telling us who the captain was because he called us into the office and he told us to meet him at a certain time, and I messaged her because I think we were in the same facility, but she was down like a floor under me. So we either went over together or we met up together, went into his office, sat down. He told us who it was. She started crying. I started doing this. And then I hugged her. We went out. I took a selfie. And actually, I was the first person to actually announce on social media that she was captain.
Yes.
And so from there, it just... I mean, my feelings was like, for a moment, I was down, but I knew the team would be in great hands. Yeah. So it was what it was.
And you got to just keep going. You got to play your part because everybody has a part on the team.
Everybody has a part. And I've always... I wasn't captain in high school.
Yeah.
I wasn't captain for the Stingettes. I wasn't captain in any other professional atmospheres. But I will humbly say that those atmospheres or those teams would have not been the same without me. And I'm okay with that.
Hey.
I'm okay with that. I'll take that. I know the piece I've contributed. I know the leadership I made. I know that my purpose and that part of my life, that was not my purpose. Yeah. I'm living my purpose now, and I'm okay with it.
A lot of people need to listen. Listen, y'all. Listen.
Listen.
Baby, you ate that.
Listen, Linda.
The way you just ate that, I like it.
Oh,
I like it. Oh, you ate that.
Thank you. But that's real. No, but that's real. That's like real life. Like, I've gone after a lot of things, and I've learned a lot about rejection. My first biggest rejection in life being not making a Stingette.
Yeah.
That piece of rejection for me, it helped me to see what my role was and where I was needed, and right. it just reminded me to play the part that I needed to play. Now, I've had other experiences with rejection, but I think that second one in my life with not being picked for captain, it matured me in life for that. When I do face rejection again, just remember how you handled that, because I know I handled that with poise. I know I handled it.
Yeah. You did what you could. You did what you had to do.
I did what I could, and I will honestly say that she was the better pick.
Yeah.
She was the better pick.
Both of y'all were amazing. Great.
Yeah, I know I was amazing, but she was the better pick. She was the better pick, you know. And Bridget tried to get me now because I graduated in 2015 in the spring. Mm-hmm. Which is why I didn't return in spring for basketball season. I only returned like partially because I was taking 22 credit hours, and I was a bio major. Ooh. And I just decided out of nowhere that I want to graduate this semester. I'm kind of over it. I want to graduate. I want to go ahead and move on. And we had so many instances where Bridget would be like, if you come back, you'll be my captain. If you come back, you'll be this. You come back.
Oh,
and
Lord.
No, it's okay. Whoever you pick, it just never wasn't like, what do that? Do I want to pause getting my degree so I can come back and be like, what? Like, I just not like no, and I don't regret that. If I didn't come back or graduate, I probably wouldn't have danced for the Cavs organization in the fall. I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have started my organization in the spring. You know, I wouldn't have just had the life that I got on that timeline. So I'm cool.
Yeah. If you would have gotten the captain position, like, what would you have brought?
And that's another thing. That's why I say she was the better pick, because I don't know.
But even though you did not get that captain position, it was a lot of weight taken off of you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of weight taken off.
Yeah. I mean, but no. If I were to imagine myself that time frame, I mean, just one discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, some people probably say that I'm just as crazy as Ashley or whoever else I claim is crazy, because like I'm really big on just like discipline, precision. I would have relied heavily on those around me for technique. I will admit that, but just making sure that we're precise, giving you a show, making sure that each performance has some type of story or meaning behind it. We just not out there doing these 8 counts on the field.
Right.
Yeah, I would have really gave other people the opportunity also to collaborate as much as possible. So I say, I don't know, but I'm also just thinking about like me as a leader now and what's important to me as a leader now. So who knows? I don't know. I really have a plan when I put that essay in. I just knew I wanted to do it.
Okay. Right. Okay. Hey. So being that you had the opportunity to play both roles as a tail and an ace, like what did that teach you? Both roles.
First of all, my tail experience was some bull shenanigans. Because first off, it was too much going on. I only was tail for 1 one game.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be a tail. I never desired to be a tail. We didn't have a tail until that point.
Yeah.
It was just something to do.
Right.
That was the game that Dr. Oliver decided he was going to sit us down for doing counts that we have been doing our entire existence as Stingettes. And Bridget needed some type of distraction for the fans to not notice that we really weren't dancing.
Right.
So she pulled me from Ace and told me to go be tail. And if I'm going to go be tail, I'm going to go show my ass.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So that's what I did. I mean, it taught me nothing because it was unexpected. It was Magic City. I was already irritated. But if I didn't go, true story, if I didn't go be tail, we wouldn't have been able to dance the rest of that game. Because me sitting back there. So even though I wasn't captain or whatever, Dr. Oliver and I still had this relationship. Like I said, I was TBS. I was one of his kids, you know. So he would always have this little sweet spot for me. Yeah. And so sitting back there as tail, he was sitting behind me. And so I called him over and I said, with tears, drip, 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 I said, Dr. Oliver, this is my last Magic City. Please don't make us sit down the rest of this game. He got to fussing to me like, well, y'all these people are close on y'all. But I think, true story, Dr. Oliver was dating somebody at the time, and she was a hater. Ooh. She was sitting over there by us, and she was watching us how we was moving, and she said something to him, and then he looked, and then he got in his feelings, and he set her down. True story. Sorry, everlasting, everybody. That's what happened in real life. So I cried. He said something to Bridget, and then we was able to dance the rest of the game.
Thank
so it has not moved me.
Right. Thank you.
I saved Magic City for the Stingette.
Period. Saved it. Y'all was up there doing arm movements.
Girl with the bang though. Like
baby. They tried
I ain't doing this with you. You gotta have my Stingette sisters, man.
Oh, okay. They tried it. But how did you speaking of TBS, like what made you want to be a part of the organization?
Okay, so I just remember being at practice, and we were on the field with a full band, and one of my, she was the president at the time, big sisters, Brianna Allen, stepped up, made this huge announcement about there being orientation interest meetings for Tau Beta Sigma coming up that following weekend. I went home, did some Googling, did my homework, and I found out that, Tau Beta Sigma was a fraternity organization serving bands for greater bands. We're supporting bands. I was a band head. I love bands. I love everything about band. And so with that, I was like, this is for me. And I submitted my ticket, and the rest literally changed my entire life. Yeah. It's an experience that I'll never forget. My TBS sisters are near and dear to my heart. Like, I miss them so much. It makes my throat hurt now, just like thinking about them and how much we went through and the crazy experience that we had. But just the opportunity to be able to be like one of the most important people in the marching band. Yeah. So that was really what it was. Like okay, well, we will be important. We will be able to serve, and I learned a lot about leadership and what a leader really was. And I did what I had to do in order to be a part of that family, and it's a family that I cherish very closely.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You said that.
Not only a member, but became vice president and became president.
You better show your credentials.
During my time.
You better show your credentials.
During my time.
Okay.
So I brought in some babies who was at the bar. We got a little bit of trouble, like most chapters. We get busy and empty, but it is what it is. We were still leaders. We did what we had to do. And, that time period for us in TBS was just a memorable thing. And I really think we set the bar and just changed the way things were as far as our contribution to the band. And I learned a lot. Yes.
Okay. Did you like buck or honey? Because, they say buck or honey. Because, they say Stingettes give honey.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Yes.
I love that. Okay. Honey. Oh, because the cows give milk. Is that right?
There you go. There you go. We see each other.
It just depends on the day. It depends on the song. It depends on who's leading. It depends on the game. It depends on the weather. It depends on the mood. That's another like thing about the Stingettes. Like we'll give you both. You know what I mean? So I can't have a preference if I'm really a Stingette. I gotta be able to bounce in and out. Bucking is always fun, but sometimes this ain't the place. You know, sometimes you gotta give honey. It's time to be sweet. I like that. Give honey. I like that. Oh, because we sing. Oh my God, that is like, why have I never heard that before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. But I don't have a preference. I like to be able to do both.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite uniform?
Oh, it's so funny. One of the Stingette fan pages actually just posted a video yesterday. Tagged me in it of me dancing in my favorite uniform. It's a gold leotard.
Oh, yes.
I took my graduation pictures in it. Gold leotard that has like this niche in the middle with these gold beads. That is like my favorite. I just loved how it looked on my skin.
Yes, ma'am.
That's my favorite. And I have like, that's my graduation pictures. I like, legit, I need that uniform. Let me borrow that real fast. That's my favorite uniform. At least that I performed in. Mm-hmm. Is that what you were asking about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was my favorite uniform I performed in. So my favorite uniform that I didn't perform in, I think I'm going back. Forgive me if I'm incorrect, but I think I'm going back to about 08-ish or probably See, I don't know when it originally came out, but the uniform that was like the bra with the feathers.
Oh yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
With the high waisted like that, I think that's just something that I saw them in, and I was just like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's just like so beautiful to me.
Different
and sexy.
Yeah,
it's so sexy. Yeah.
What was your least favorite?
My least favorite uniform. I don't know. I can't say what my least favorite is because I can't really think what it was, but I didn't really like the black and white one that we did at Magic City, with like the things going down. Oh yeah. The Magic City Asia year. Mm-hmm. I really can't.
14.
No, I know what my least favorite.
Which one?
My least favorite uniform was 2012 Magic City.
The black one?
It was like a black and gold kind of two-piece that was connected by one like a gold strap. That was my least favorite uniform because one, it was freezing. I'm sorry. It was cold as hell. Two, I damn near made it myself.
Oh wow!
So I hated it, and then it was like the way my butt was like cut unevenly, so I had like one butt cheek that was like out more than the other one. It was just horrible.
Oh my god! See, I would have thought that you would have probably said the different cancer uniforms with the feathers.
I could say this. The concept was different. I'm not going to say I disliked it or hated it. I liked my uniform on me. I requested the royal blue.
Yes.
It didn't. My uniform was like the one that didn't represent a cancer for real because I just wanted TDS colors. So
okay.
I was like, you just want TDS?
Yes, ma'am.
I used my privilege right there. Yes. I liked my uniform on me. I liked how it felt. We all, together, it might have not pleased the fans as much, and that's fine. But separately, I think
I loved it.
I loved it. I liked how we shimmied and shook, and then my curls was real tight. I did them like really, really tight because I liked how the dials did theirs, and I was like, no, actually, Silva helped me and Courtney make our hair look like hers. I remember that. Yeah,
I love that.
Chocolate Thunder. We was twinning.
Yes,
we was
ma'am.
Twinning.
I love my chocolates, honey.
Chocolate Thunder.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite game to battle? Like, who did you like battling against?
Like the big games. The games that brought everybody out. Of course, Magic City. Mm-hmm. Of course, we only really had one experience with Tuskegee for me until things changed, 2012. Mm-hmm. But that was like a long rivalry with them. But Magic City, Southern, like the games that bring everybody out, those are my favorite. It's not like you could really, to me, it's so different. It was so different from like high school because like in high school you kind of get close enough to really battle and look a female in her eyes and like really battle her. But in college, they so far away, and you trying to pay attention to your captain, your coordinator, your business director. I don't even feel like it's really like a battle because I'm not.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not seeing you see me. Like we need to see each other, and I need to know we see each other.
Right.
I didn't feel that, but I just felt the audience. So any of the games that brought the largest amount of people were my favorites.
The energy, the
energy, the alum that will come out, and
the way you ate 2013 MCC, baby.
That's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Baby.
It's my favorite.
I'm about to cry.
I was about to say it makes me emotional thinking about it. Like it was my favorite. I don't know what made us throw them 1x1s that long though, bruh. Like I don't know what happened, why we did it that long, but I'm glad we did.
Legendary.
That was the game. People met me. People met who I was.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm glad we did because I'm like, okay, we got to keep going. I love this beat anyway. Let's jam.
Yes. Y'all was eating, baby. 6 minutes straight, baby. 6 minutes straight.
I'm like, what the what?
Whew.
Anyway.
That was a good decision. So what is your take on the 3-year rule?
I feel like they do what they want to. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like it's really a rule.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I don't even think it's really like technically a thing because we saw people come and go, but it just magically appeared when Alexis and Ashley were re-auditioning to be on the team. And it just came out of nowhere on their fourth, or what would have been their fourth rip. So like, and then after that, people still came back for a fourth rip. Like it's a myth.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, all respect, but I get what he's trying to do. I get the point, but it's a myth.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on colorism on dance teams? Not the Stingettes, but just in general.
I mean, it's hurtful. You know, like when you think about it. I'll say this: if I experienced it, it wasn't to my face.
Right.
I'll say that. So I don't want to say I did or didn't because I don't know what happened. I don't know who said what. I heard rumors that administrative had something to say about having a captain that looked a certain way and blah blah blah. I've heard these things, but nobody ever to my face, or anything like that. So as far as how I feel about it, and I mean, it actually goes beyond collegiately because you hear a lot as far as like the professional world of dance and the NBA and the young lady that came out about her bullying. I mean, I even had some experience where, dancing for the Cavs, I had to, set one of these straight a couple times, it's what it is. But, I mean, they hate us because they ain't us. No.
Right, though. You're right.
I don't really have a too deep of a response for that one because, like I said, I haven't really, unfortunately, I can't, it's not to heart with me on that, but sometimes you just got to really push through and show what you're worth, and when you show what you're worth, you push through and you show your endurance and you show your work ethic and you show your passion, you show your talent, your skin color, they'll be like, who dark skin?
Okay.
Who dark skin?
Right.
It don't matter. So that's my thoughts.
You're right. But did you ever feel like you had to work 10 times harder because of your skin color at any point?
I always felt like I had to work 10 times harder because working 10 times harder is what I do.
Right. Okay. That's fair.
I never got up there like I have to do this because I'm darker than them. I have to because I'm gay. It was never like that for me. I just always went hard because going hard is what I do. Dancing with my past, dancing hard is what I do. Giving my all is what I do. Like I did that because I don't know no other way. Not because I had to. I don't know no other way. I don't know how to dance dainty or really soft or not give my all, or I don't know how to do that. So it was never because I had to. It's because like my mom instilled these ethics in me, and I pushed them out in the way I perform.
Right, that's true. You said that. Did you ever receive any mistreatment or backlash because of your sexuality? All dance experience, welcome.
If I did, it was never to my face.
Right.
Like I in college, I started. I ain't gonna say women. I dated a female, and it was really just a out of nowhere decision. I liked her.
Yeah.
And that was my preference, And then after that, I fell in love with someone. We married. She just happens to be a female. Like, it is what it is for me. I never really contemplated that decision or what anybody else would say. Only a person I really cared about feeling the type of was my mother. It took me a minute to kind of get that conversation in there, but then she rebutted back with, well, you know what? I ain't perfect.
Yeah.
So, I love you. Like, and I mean, I've been living my life since then, but I've never had no personal experiences to my face or in front of me. It never stopped me from dancing for the NBA or being a Stingette or starting my own business. Or, as a matter of fact, I get more grants and stuff because I am Black and gay.
Hey,
so
yes, yes.
So I get more money for my disability.
Okay.
I guess,
Hey.
You know what I mean? So I know I'm not mentioning it, not personally. If there's any opportunity I missed out on behind the scenes, then so be it. But God allowed me to get what I need to get.
And I commend you for just living out loud,
Thank you.
Fuck them folks. Period.
Thank you. I do it in a respectful manner. I work with children, so I'm never just like up like rah rah rah,
right?
Gay, or like kissy with my wife. I'm never like that. We just aren't like that in general. But I'm not gonna hide her. She is on my social media.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? We are gonna be in public. She is on my body. You know what I'm saying?
Period.
We're gonna do what we do and what I plan to do. But I'm gonna respect others, even if if she was a man or my husband. If I'm at dance practice, I don't want nobody coming up kissing me, hugging me, groping me like the same way. I live my life as if she's a person.
Right.
And that's all that matters.
Period.
That's the love of my life. So.
Period. Which captain was your favorite to dance under? Ashley, Kiki, or Asia? And what did each teach you?
Damn, let me get through the first part. Okay, well, I know it's not nothing personal against Ashley. It's just the fact that I was a crab. So it's not my favorite experience.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say between Asia and Kiki. It's really, really hard because I mean it honestly felt like, which I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but it felt like I was on two different teams both of them years. Like, it literally did. Like, Kiki gave me things that Asia didn't. Asia gave me things that Kiki didn't. And it's like, I just wish I would have experienced, like, a little more of both. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to say between the two which one it is, so I won't do it.
Okay. Okay.
As far as what each taught me, endurance definitely. Well, damn, I was gonna say. Okay, hold on. Ashley, definitely discipline, because that was like that was like the key word for the whole year.
Right.
As a crack. Discipline. Kiki was probably the year of endurance, because any chance she got, she was gonna buck,
yes, ma'am.
and keep going, back. No breaks, keep going, go.
Yep.
And it's like I started like staying there. And even on the field, we was doing some crazy moves. Like,
yes.
I was going back, it was like, what kind of Mortal Kombat type of dancing was weird? Like, I be looking at my knees, and I'm like, my knees would probably be like, girl, pie.
Okay.
But Asia, she taught me. I guess that's the year I learned about honey.
Yeah.
And just woof.
Yeah.
I learned a lot under her, man.
Yeah.
I learned a lot under her. I was introduced to my dynamics under Asia, and just the poise and movement under Asia. So that's what I learned under.
That's cool.
I ain't gonna say which. I can't say which one between them two.
We understand. We understand.
Crab sister and line sister.
Okay.
Like,
Period. There you go.
Both of them.
So, both. 2 in 1, baby. 2 in 1.
Yep.
What was your favorite part about being a Stingette? And then we're gonna move on from Stingette.
My favorite part about that was easy. Just the fan energy.
Yeah.
And the diehardness of the audience and the energy they give and the life they give you. Even if you doubt yourself, it's like once those fans really just and work and just how they give you their energy, it's like I haven't had an experience like that yet. I mean, that's what makes me miss it so much.
Yeah.
That fan energy, man. Like, it's my favorite part. The game days and being able to like be out there and get that life from them. You know, the exchange of life.
Right.
Giving you life and you giving me, it's unmatched. You know, like there's a professionally, like people are so poised and they just, oh yeah, that was awesome, dude. You see that?
Yeah.
Like, I know, yell at me. Like, that's why when my girls dance, like at practice, even if they messing up, when they're like trying to get into performing and stuff, I'm yes, live, yes. Like I'm teaching them to do that with each other. Like I tell them when they dance, if you're not performing or practicing right now, if you're standing on the side, give your sister life.
Right.
Like, period. They know. Like by the time they got to practice, they like, oh my God.
Feed off that energy. Yep.
Like so yeah, I try to really feel that in them. So that's what set it apart for me.
Yeah. So how did you prepare for the Cleveland Cavalier dance team?
So actually in 2015 I auditioned for the Cavalier girls.
Okay. So
there's been some transitions going on. But back then there were the Cavalier girls where you'll notice a lot of like NBA teams have gone from like pom-poms and boots to like this co-ed environment where like boys and girls. So back then there were just like the girls with the boots and the pom-poms and that, and I didn't make the team. Again, technique. Also, there was a comment about my body weight, which I don't have a lot of weight, but like I've never had like no 6-pack or like really toned stomach like ever, like ever. So I got critiques like that, but then I auditioned for the D League of the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is like the team under them, or like the players who want to be in the NBA. So I did that because they told us like the success rate for girls who audition for that and turn around and dance for the Cavalier girls is higher for those who do it. So I auditioned for that. I made the team. I did the team. And again, as I talk about just that fan, it was a hard shift, man, because now at this point, I'm not even in a big stadium with the 20,000 fans. I'm in like what's basically a high school gym type of environment. And we would just finish and they would be like, the Canton Charge girls. Cricket. Like it was just hard. It was such a hard transition. On top of the fact that just so much, I just really didn't feel my passion. I wasn't feeling it. Like I really wasn't. And it was a lot going on. I think my car got stolen mid-season, and it was so much happening. So I quit the team. Ooh, that's like one of the first things I ever quit in my life. But I quit the team right before the Cavs won the playoffs. Which I wish I could do that. I was salty because everybody in the organization got one of them like fake championship rings. I was salty. I'm like, missed my chance. But anyway, once I quit that, like 2 months later, I started my organization up here. So I refocused my time. But then, so from 2016 to 2019, I let that go. Focus on my business, my organization. my fiance who turned into my wife. Like, I focused on those things.
Yeah.
And then in 2019, I quit my full-time job to run my business full-time and also offer, some freelance marketing stuff on the side, trying to get some money, but money wasn't fast enough. And so I'm like, damn, I need to like get a job, but I don't want to do something that's gonna make me quit again. Like, I don't want to do And then I saw on social media and all the new, because it's a big thing when the Cavs organization discontinued the Cavalier girls and introduced the Powerhouse dance team.
Okay.
And it was this co-ed precision hip hop team. And I got to looking at it and I'm like, ooh, I think I want to do this. And my wife is so, like, she's very stingy with my time. So it was hard convincing her to be like, that I want to do this. But once I told her, like, it'll be a part-time job, I'll get some money, I'll be able to do what I'm doing. She was like, okay, well, go ahead. And so they had a workshop where you can, like, it was like a clinic to see, like, pre-audition type stuff. But I went to the clinic trying to be nosy, see what the scene was about, see what we was going to do, see what the style was, see if I wanted to audition. Went to the audition, and mind you, the only dance I had really been doing was my own and my, what I do with Buckout Cleveland and the partnerships we have. But when I went to audition, messed around and got a fast pass, which means that I passed the first round of auditions, meaning I didn't have to worry about being cut from the first round of auditions.
Oh, wow.
Because, it was I was living. I love how the precision, the hard hitting and the faces that we were able to make, because I couldn't, the faces we make for Cavs, we couldn't make them for Stingette. You couldn't make them facials. So, so I was like living in that workshop, and the rest was history. I made the team, and I was a part of the first ever Cavs Powerhouse dance team. And I miss my family so much, this goddamn coronavirus. But for me, my preparation was really the work that I was doing in my own organization. I shot my shot, and like I said, I don't know how to dance soft, so they was looking for them hard hitters and those precise dancers. And when they saw me, they was like, "Yeah, girl with the feeder braid." I'm just saying, but yeah, it was awkward because my coach for the Canton Charge at the time I quit from that experience, she matriculated to like one of the managers of the entertainment team. So we had this interview process, and I knew that either it was going to be a question as to my quitting before, so I was really nervous that I wasn't going to make the team. So before they could even ask me or let it linger in their thoughts, when the interview came along, I basically maneuvered the question to basically suggest that I want to come back to be a better example to my students. And really finish something that I started. And so it's a bittersweet feeling, because, like, technically I finished my season, but technically I didn't again because of coronavirus. But whatever.
We're going to get back. Hopefully. So how did Buckout Cleveland come about?
Yeah, so maybe Buckout Cleveland. So like I said, back in 2016, I probably quit Canton Charge in about March of that year, and I was looking for something to do. It's just like I have to dance. Like, I know I'm on the earth for that purpose, but I needed something to do, and people had already been kind of inquiring about me helping them with like auditioning or like that type of style of dance. And I was already working with 2 students before I actually even had my first session. One of them being Denasia Johnson, 2016 Stingette. But working with them really like made me want to like give more to my community within that genre. The Midwest isn't as big on that genre as the South. They don't have those type of resources to connect them to that style of dance or aspire them to HBCUs or whatever. We don't really have that here. So I did my first workshop just about, the style. I called it a Buckout session. And it was a 2-hour dance clinic about April 2016. We had about 60 people there, man. It was crazy. And I wanted, it was called Buckout Session And then I had a logo made for the flyer, and it said Buck Out Session Cleveland Edition or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the design, and I was like, take out Session and Edition and just say Buck Out Cleveland.
Yeah.
And it stuck. It stuck. And from there, I just have been trying to navigate what it means and what it is. And now I'm finally getting comfortable with knowing what my organization is and what it stands for. So we're here in Northeast Ohio dedicated towards utilizing dance to bridge the gap between the youth in the community and higher education at HBCUs. And I literally just landed on what our mission really, really is, because I wanted to just get specific.
Right.
I'm a marketing head just naturally, so I really wanted to get that together. So we've officially converted completely into a nonprofit organization, and we offer, those dance training, those clinics, those mentorship opportunities, but also those resources connecting them to, the HBCU Council of Greater Cleveland or, the Urban League, just to really just keep that energy up for higher education at our Black colleges.
That's good. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like you.
About my business now.
Okay. I like you. Yes, ma'am. So, what is your role with the Diamond Dancers?
Hey, all right. You got a good order in these questions.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It trickles down, baby. Oh, yes.
Hey, all right. Here we go. So, with Buck Out Cleveland, I was trying to establish a way for me to do what I do on a more consistent basis. I was doing workshops, and I was doing more like pop-up things. And I just was having a hard time just engaging with students consistently. So I knew I wanted to do like a team type of concept.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to start a new team. Like, that's so exhausting. Like, I just started a new business. You want me to start a new team? Like, it's so hard. And so one night, it was like summer of 2018. One night I was folding some laundry, watching some YouTube videos. I think I started with like the videos that were on the HBCU Dance Affair. And then I started watching how I used to do the clinic with the Stingettes and the Downs.
Yeah.
And like, it just, it started to autoplay. And I don't know how, because, YouTube has its own algorithm and stuff, but the last video I watched had Summer Versity in it.
Yeah.
Then it led right into a video on the Diamond Dancers page or YouTube page. And the video I watched was one of their like showcase performances. I think it was Liberated. One of their showcase performances, and I like froze. And I was like,
yes,
this is like these is teenagers and stuff. Like, what the hell? And so like that night, I literally watched every video on their YouTube page. Every video. Like I like watched, and I'm like, the cut, precision, and energy. And oh God, like it's just like it was like my life was given to me.
Yes,
in a way
ma'am.
that it hadn't since Stingette, And so I sat there, and I think I was sipping on some wine, and I got to that limit. And sometimes when I get to that limit, I have these ideas. I'm like, I need to see if they want to collaborate.
Yes, ma'am.
So the next day, I DM'd Jasper Reed. Shout out to my brother. I DM'd him, and I asked him if we could exchange numbers. We have been trying to arrange to call each other for a while. And I just decided I'm going to sit here and I'm going to send him the longest text possible. Because we couldn't get phone calls. So basically in my text, I asked him, have he ever thought about expanding what he's doing? If, maybe he wanted to do a Chicago or Cleveland or wherever. And he entertained the idea. Later in 2018, he came out. We did one workshop just to spark interest. That following February, we did a registration event. We just went from there, and I reached out to Danielle Stamper to kind of give us just that face to kind of get more people in the building. And I mean, it went from there. And so now, Buck Out Cleveland has a dance company that is the Diamond Co. In that we have our precious diamonds who are ages 9 to 13, and then the Diamond Co. or Diamond Dancers, how most of you may know them, are the older ages and adults. My relationship my role in that is that I am the director of the Diamond Coast Cleveland. So I'm the big boss on that end, and then I have to support me, but Jasper is who I report to, or who works with me to kind of, we work together in our ways, and it's an indescribable relationship. Baby. It has transformed me, one as a business owner, or I guess as a executive director. I try not to use the for-profit language no more. This is a shift for me, I'm telling you. But one as a business owner, two creatively. Yeah. Jasper Reed, I mean, he deserves his roses now. Okay. Period. He deserves them now. Yes. You know what I mean? He pushes me creatively. He shows me what dynamics in dance really, really is. He shows me what it means to dance with every fiber of every inch of you, down to the way you move your eyelid. I mean, he teaches me, and I learn from him every single day. Sometimes I just message him and tell him, thank you for just existing and being you. And so he pours into us. And those girls who have been under them for years, Asia and Summer and Kiki, and those girls who have been working with them, they pour into us in Cleveland. And now, like, I feel like the Cleveland chapter, we getting there. We work towards getting to that level. And we got some things coming. Oh, yes, ma'am. You know I'm ready. We got some things coming. Baby, them diamonds eat. You might want to subscribe to their YouTube channel. Yes. Yeah, out. Because it ain't over. I'm picky about where people see me dance at, but baby, when it come to Deco, I'm not just the director in Cleveland. I'm a member. That's my heart right now. Period. It's my heart right now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's my role. What was your major in college? I picked the wrong major. What was it? My major in college was biology. Oh. Experience. Through my college experience, I promoted parties like no other. I learned about what you need. I was a part of the clique that did the parties, and we used to, you know what I mean? I was a part of that scene a lot. So I learned about like a lot, and a lot of those students were business majors. You know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot from them. And then when I graduated from college, my first job, I got that job because of my biology degree, but I spent such a close amount of time with the marketing department that I was promoted to marketing and branding specialist for the entire clinic, for like a 4-location clinic. So I learned more about that, and I use it to really do what I do every day. Because you got business brains, baby. I'm like, yes, I need to be learning from you. It's all natural. I tried to go to grad school for business, and I was exhausted, you know, with just school and all that stuff. I don't really feel like it's necessary right now, but I think if I go back to school, it'll be for dance or like nonprofit administration, something like that. It will probably be that. But I think that mindset, I don't know. Like I said, sometimes I reach my limit when I do them things, them adult things, and my brain get to going. Yeah, and I type them ideas out, and then I go and see, well, who else is doing it? Okay, well, how can we do it better? And then, okay, well, how much, if we do X amount of dollars times this amount of people, then we did it. It's just my brain. I can't help it. I can't. Yes, ma'am. That's how you supposed to think. Period. I just got a few more questions. Okay, I'm good. If you could pick 13 Stingettes, who would be on your all-star team? Hold on, I have a question because, I'm a fan. I already told you I'm a fan of your interviews. So I don't like the fact that you asked me for 13 instead of 12. Okay, 12. And I still don't know the answer. I don't know. I really don't know. You got it? Okay, now you got to help me keep count, though. Okay, I got you. So let me guess. So, okay, hold on. In this environment, am I like the leader or something? Yes, you are the captain. I'm the captain. So they have to like look kind of like me in the ways or something, right? Yeah. Okay. Kiki, for sure. Kiki, Alexis Delaney, yes, although she might bully me through my experience. No. Okay. And so, if she'll have me, Ashley, Cause I'm just trying to think of like shorties that can get down with the get down. Ooh. Come on, Alexis Berry. Come on, Summer Bercy. Where am I at?
4.
Did you count me yet?
Oh, 5.
Okay, you cheated.
We got 5.
Okay. Yeah, this is hot. Diamond Pagan.
Yes, ma'am.
Brittany Johnson. Come on, who else be getting down with the get down? Chelsea Mitchell.
Ooh.
Trying to think of.
Everybody loves Miss Mitchell, honey.
Miss Mitchell.
Oh, yes.
Miss Mitchell. I mean, you a hater if you don't.
Okay.
If you don't mess with her. I'm drawing blanks now with people names and stuff. You about to make
you know you gotta give Mama Asia.
Oh, I mean, no, wait. Yeah. I don't know why the hell in my head I was like saving her. I thought I said it. Yeah, Asia. She the tail.
Yeah.
If I'm the captain, she the tail and Kiki the ace.
Yes. Yes, that's 9.
Okay, where I'm at
9.
How many more is that? I can't do math.
3.
Three more. So then if Asia on the team, I need people that's kind of like her height. Okay, give me that stallion I first seen, that Brittany Holmes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna take her. I'm gonna go ahead and take, and you go ahead and give me LB too.
Oh, yes.
She's legendary.
One more.
I just bow. Like,
yes, ma'am.
Bow down. You know what? I got one more.
Mm-hmm.
I've been vibing with Yasmin lately.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna give you guys. Ooh, that's the team.
Yes, that's baby.
Can we do a video, y'all? Can we do a video?
You need to do it. I need you on a collab. Period.
We'll figure it out. You know, I mean, it's coronavirus and I'm far from people.
Yes.
And you know, like that's my only. But we'll figure it out.
Oh,
but
yes.
I'm telling you got a collab coming. Just keep your eyes on them. Look up Cleveland and the Diamond Dancers.
I got you.
You'll get me very soon.
I got you.
Yeah.
The people wanted to know, what are your thoughts on the 2019 line?
Okay, wait, what year is it?
We're in 2020.
Oh, that was under Miss Scott.
Yeah.
The court. Not my baby. Okay. I'm gonna do good and bad.
Okay.
The uniforms was on point. The look was on point. Shout out to because I know Miss Porter contributed 1 or 2. I know that for a fact.
Yes.
Actually. So shout out to them and the overall look that they had. The sex was to the T.
Yes.
I give them sex. You know what I'm saying? I wish we smiled a little more.
Yep.
But there was a lacking in the smiling. And I trust me, I understand, because I literally, my first game with Asia, we both was frowned up. I don't know what that's about. It was just the energy. It was hot, and I just felt like it was something to prove. But people was telling me to smile, and I was kind of like, man, F y'all. Until I realized it was a lump telling me to smile. And then I smiled. I smiled more. But now looking back at it, I'm like, why do they look so mean? They should look so mean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sex don't have to look so mean, you know? But anyway, that's that. Also, just trying to be careful here. I am trying to be careful. You know, I just really want us to really be cautious about our character and being a leader, remembering the legacy that the Stingette built, and how the smallest thing can tear down a legacy, you know, and how it's important we're sisters. At the end of the day, whether you're upperclassmen or whatever, once you make that team together, that's your sister. So we should be able to communicate in ways that are like a family, you know, versus other ways. I'll just say that. That's my feedback. I think they had an excellent year. They did what they had to do. They moved with the punches that they could move with. I will say that since graduating, aside from Asia's second year, because that was like legendary, legendary. But aside from Asia's second year, I think after her, my favorite year since then will probably be Amber's year.
Yes.
There wasn't no If it was, I didn't hear about it. I didn't hear about no drama. They went and they slayed. Their facials were excellent.
Yes.
I saw from young lady to now I look at like I know your name. You know what I mean? I know who you are. That was probably one of my favorites since then.
Yeah. I love Amber so much.
I love her. She's such a sweet soul, such a sweet individual, so hardworking, and will ask any question if she needs to. She don't know something, she'll ask it. She'll work hard for. She worked hard for what she.
Oh, definitely, definitely, yes. So what's going on with you? Like, what personally? What's going on? Like.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about a lot that's going on with me already. I'm married. I'm just trying to settle my life as far as, adult things, like aspirations of buying a home and starting a family and stuff like that, but while doing it in a way that's sustainable. So trying to get my organization on its feet, but I am back working full-time. However, I am the dance program manager at an organization here called the Rainey Institute. It's been around for 120-something years. So I'm able to, pour into youth full-time, and then so it's like dance is really my life right now.
Yes.
I'm loving it. I'm walking in my purpose. Shout out to Chadwick Boseman. I'm walking in my purpose, and I love everything I do. From the moment I get up, I'm learning about how to create dance programming and creating budgeting and creating mission statements and vision statements and marketing and all these things surrounded by dance. I love it. I love what I'm doing right now, and just trying to pour into the girls that I touch daily and expand my organization, still performing with the Diamond Co., and I will solely be performing with the Diamond Co. I will not be returning back to the NBA only because COVID, I don't really want to be in those situations. Right. But then also with me having this new job, I want to be able to focus on I'm the boss there. You know what I'm saying? I got enough people, and I want to be able to do my thing. So that's what I'm doing now, and just trying to be a good mother, a good daughter, a good sister, a good family member, a good wife, just a decent person all around. Trying to tap into my spirituality and get my mind and saving, and just being an adult. But dance is still at my heart. It will never go away. It will never go away.
Oh.
Never.
I just want to say, I've learned so much about you today, and it's been a great conversation.
Thank you so much for reaching out to me. I'm really honored that like I said, I was a fan. I was just watching. I gotta connect my girls to the resources about things that are HT. So your interviews were already on my radar. Just connecting them with watching and staying up to date. So being able to be here and speak to your fans.
Yes,
ma'am. Being able to speak to you and talk to you about my fans. I mean, this is an honor, and I appreciate it.
Oh my God! Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, I'm about to go. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Love you guys.